His first son was the great Lord Halfdane. He was 4 times the father of this warrior king. One by one they awoke into the world. Haeregar, Hrothgar, and the brave Halvor, and a daughter I heard, who was Onelo's queen, a comfort in bed to the battle-worn Swede.
The fortunes of war favored Hrothgar. Kinsmen and neighbors flocked to his ranks, a force that grew to be a fearsome army. And Hrothgar decided to build a great hall, a magnificent mead house, mightier far than had ever been seen by the sons of the earth, meant to be a wonder to the world forever. Far and wide, work was commissioned to build and adorn that marvelous mead hall. Now, as men counted time, it was finished with speed, and then it stood there, strong and ready. Heorot, he named this hall of halls, he whose word was law.
The hall was vast, its gables high and wide, awaiting the barbarous burning that would be its fate. That day would come when the bloodlust of in-laws would flash into flame and the hall would fall to ashes. But at this time, the shining hall was a symbol of strength.
In Heorot, Hrothgar shared his wealth, giving out rings and precious gifts, treasure at banquet as he had promised, but never common land or the lives of men. The ring giver called for the clear song of the singer. The skilled poet told of man's beginning, of how the Almighty had made the earth, brilliant in beauty, bound by the sea, and set up in triumph the sun and the moon as lamplights for men, bejeweling the world with branches and leaves, and quickening life in all living things that move and breathe.
Those noble men enjoyed their good fortune until one evil spirit, a fiend out of hell, a powerful demon prowling in the night, had to endure great torment when he heard the sound of the harp in the hall. He felt envy and anger to hear their joy, and began to suffer bitter sorrow.
Grendel was the name of this hideous demon. He haunted the marshes and the desolate fens in misery among the banished monsters. Cain's clan, forever condemned as outcasts. In the dark of night, Grendel drew near, closing in on the Ringdanes in the royal hall. And there he came upon the best of warriors, asleep after feasting, unmindful of danger, insensible to pain and human sorrow. And all at once, Grendel descended upon them, wrathful and reckless, grim and greedy. He seized sleepy men and stumbled in darkness back to his lair with the murdered corpses, proud of his plunder and banquet of bodies.
Then the dawning as day was breaking, the atrocities of Grendel were revealed. Wailing arose where feasting had been. Mighty King Hrothgar was staring in horror, bewildered and stunned by the loss of his thanes. He was sick with grief, but had no respite, for the very next night, merciless Grendel struck once again with murderous terror. No one could know his purpose or reason. He was evil by nature and knew no remorse.
So Grendel ruled, a reign of terror, all against one in defiance of right, until Heorot, the greatest hall in the world, stood empty at night for 12 long winters. Those were hard times, heartbreaking misery for the Prince of Shieldings and his people.
Sometimes, at pagan shrines they prayed to the slayer of souls in their desperate need. That was their custom, their heathen hope. They turned towards hell in their misery, for Almighty God was unknown to them.
Soon this horror was known throughout the world. Terrible tales of the hearth raids of Grendel. How Hrothgar's warriors were helpless against him. And Heorot stood dark, doomed, and empty. This feud with Grendel became known to Heolac's men in the land of the Geats. There was one among them who for strength was the foremost man on earth at the time. The king's nephew, the mightiest of thanes, believed that his strength could defeat the demon.
I have heard there was no one like him alive. High-born and powerful, strong and courageous.
He ordered a ship, a stout wave walker, and declared his intention to sail to the Danes, to seek out King Hrothgar far over the Swan Road, that noble monarch in need of defenders. None of the elders stopped him from going. They dearly loved him, but they let him seek honor, fit for a hero. The omens were good. A bold man chose comrades, the best he could find, the keenest of warriors from the ranks of the Geats. Sea Skill, the seeker of glory, set sail. Over the waves with the wind behind her, that seahorse swiftly covered the distance, until in due course, on the second day, the sailors saw landfall, sunlit cliffs, steep crags, and broad headlands. The voyage was over. The sea had been crossed.
The Geat warriors climbed ashore quickly, leaping to the sand with clashes of armour. A sharp-eyed lookout was high on the wall, guarding the sea cliffs from foreign marauders. He saw battle gear being unloaded, and with a mighty hand, he shook his spear and challenged the intruders with formal words.
Who are you in your warrior's lordship, rigged out for battle with bladed weapons? Never before had men in arms, uninvited, landed so openly on our shores. Never have I seen a mightier warrior than this man among you. No false sloucher here, but a hero, I think, unless I'm mistaken. Yet, before I allow you to go any further, you must tell me, and the sooner the better, where you have come from and why you are here.
The leader of the warriors unlocked his word hoard.
We belong by birth to the Geat people, owing arms and allegiance to Lord Heolac. We come on a mission and have nothing to hide. In good faith, I mean to speak to your leader, Halfdana's son, the noble Lord Hrothgar, to learn if the reports we have heard are true, that the Shieldings are cursed with a man-eating monster, a dark ill-doer in the dead of night. I come to offer my strength and assistance.
A wise man will measure two things, what he hears and what he sees. I believe what you have told me, that you are loyal to the Lord of the Danes. Proceed then, bearing your weapons and armor. I myself will guide you and order my men to guard your ship until the time comes to carry you brave men back to Gaetlon.
And so they proceeded with bright helmets flashing to the fairest of halls under the heavens. Their mail coats glistened and the hard rings of hand-locked iron sang, noisy war song. A proud entry stood in the doorway, blocking the entry to the hall of Heorot.
I am Wulfgar, the herald of Hrothgar. Where do you come from with burnished weapons? What brings you here to the great hall of Heorot?
We are King Heorot's men from Geatland. Beowulf is me name. Beowulf is my name. I seek an audience with King Hrothgar, but I would rather explain this mission of mine to your famed sovereign, if he will receive us.
I can tell by your bearing and by these fine wrought weapons that you are men with noble intentions. It is plain you are here because of your valor, and not because you are banished or exiled. I will bear your request to my noble king, and come back at once to bring his reply.
And so the herald went in haste to the high-seated bench where Hrothgar sat, white-haired and old, with his earls around him. Wulfgar announced the warriors' arrival.
Warriors from Geatland to see you! Gracious king, I beg you receive them. They seem high-born and worthy of respect. The foremost among them is a man called Beowulf.
I knew Beowulf when he was a boy. I helped his father, Ecgtheow. Now his son has come here as a friend to us to repay that help. This is my hope. Seafarers say he is fearless in battle. He has 30 men's strength in the grip of his hand. Holy God in his mercy has sent him to us, guided the Geat to defend us from Grendel. Go in haste and bid them come hither. Say the Danish people welcome them.
Beowulf led his warriors to Hrothgar. He stood valiant on the king's own hearth in the shimmering metal of his mail shirt.
Hail, King Hrothgar! I am Heorot's kinsman. In Geatland we heard of the dark deeds of Grendel. Travelers say that the best of buildings stands empty, useless, deserted at night. The wisest men among my people advise that I offer assistance and aid because they observed my awesome strength. When they saw me in battle, I was always a victor. I resolved to come here, and if you won't refuse me, I will overcome Grendel in hand-to-hand combat and cleanse Dark Heorot of this hideous demon.
Beowulf, it grieves my heart to burden anyone with the malice, carnage, and humiliation Grendel has inflicted upon us in Heorot. My household guard steadily weakens. Fate has swept my best warriors away into Grendel's clutches, leaving no trace. Your father swore oaths of allegiance to me when first I was king. Now you have come, at the height of your powers, a friend in our hour of need.
Unferth, a thane, the son of Ecglaf, sat at the king's feet and spoke envious words.
Are you the same Beowulf who battled with Breca to show off his swim skills in the open sea? You risked your lives in open water for the sake of a foolish, arrogant boast. I heard Breca outswam you and came through the stronger. This time you'll be slaughtered. No one has ever survived a night in battle with Grendel.
Strong words, good friend Unferth, but I think it's the ale that's doing the talking. The truth is that I was the mightier swimmer, but for 5 nights I battled under the waves with monsters who haunted those ice-water depths. By the time it was over, I slew 9 sea demons. I cannot recall any fight of yours, Unferth, that bears comparison to my mighty deeds. For what feats will you be remembered? Slaying your brothers? The fact is, Unferth, had you the courage, Grendel's death-dealing would have been stopped long ago.
The grey-haired treasure-giver was joyful, having heard in Beowulf such steadfast resolve. Danes and Geats came together under Heorot's roof. Wealhtheow came forward, Hrothgar's queen. Mindful of courtesy, she welcomed the men, came to Beowulf and offered him meat. With an open heart, she rejoiced in that hero, grateful that a champion had arrived in the hall to rid them of the curse of Grendel.
I made up my mind when I set out to sea that I would perform this act of courage and give your people what they needed, or meet my own death in this very hall. Fate goes ever as fate must.
It is time for me to take my night's rest. Never before since I could bear arms have I entrusted the Danes' hall to another man. Now guard and hold this royal house. Remember your courage and focus on glory. Beware of the enemy. If you come through alive, your ship will sail home with its hold full of treasure.
Resolute, Beowulf placed his trust in his courage, his might, and the mercy of God. He removed his armor and put down his sword.
I will face Grendel unarmed if face me he dares. God will give glory to the one he sees fit.
The Lord of the Geats lay down on the bench with his faithful company by his side. None of them knew if they would ever see their homeland or loved ones again. They knew how often the Danes fell prey to death in the meat hall by the hand of Grendel. Soon, all were asleep in Shadowy Hall. All but one. Beowulf, awake, alert, and ready for battle.
Then from the moors on the misty cliffs, murderous Grendel came greedily stalking. The cursed creature came to the mead hall, beheld the company at rest unaware, and with demonic eyes flashing like flame, he exulted over his chosen prey. Fearless and still, Beowulf lay watching.
Grendel seized a sleeping warrior, bit into his bones and drank down his blood, devouring the man from his head to his foot. His claws now reached to strike the hero, but battle-hard forearms deflected the blow. Beowulf sprang up and caught the demon, fast in an armlock with a grip of iron. That force of evil shook and recoiled. Fingers cracked as he tried to flee. He was captured and cornered. There was no escape. Beowulf's men drew out their swords, but to no avail. They could not know no man-made weapon could damage Grendel.
Then an unwieldy wail arose, a savage scream, fear and terror. Everyone felt it. Beowulf bestowed a deadly blow. Sinews sprang asunder, bone locks cracked. Grendel's lifeblood spilled from his shoulders. His arm was torn off, and out he fled, fatally hurt. Out through the fens, and into his forsaken lair.
Beowulf was granted the glory of winning. He had fulfilled his promise to Hrothgar. The proof was there, high in the meat hall. Grendel's whole shoulder and arm were hanging, that death-dealing hand for all to see. Dawn broke. Both Danes and Geats saw Grendel's gory trail to swamp. Damaged, defeated, and now death drowned, hell had claimed his heathen soul. The jubilant warriors gathered in Heorot and gazed in awe at his severed limb. Beowulf's feat was admired and praised. No man was more silent than Bluefair. Hrothgar praised God for Beowulf's victory.
May God Almighty be thanked for this deed. We have waited so long for this success. In spite of our efforts, our best were defeated. But now, Beowulf, you will be as my own son. There is nothing you wish for that won't be yours, and your story will be told throughout the ages because of what you have done here today.
I fought fiercely, fearless of Grendel, but God did not grant me the power to hold him. I wanted you to see him vanquished, but he escaped. Yet he bought his freedom dear. Hand, arm, and shoulder he left here.
Now the people came together to help Hrothgar host a royal banquet. Friends sat down in fond fellowship. Hrothgar presented Beowulf with a precious sword, both a work of art and a token of honor. He showered gifts upon that hero and rewarded those who had journeyed here with him. Then the poet woke the joy in the hall with music and tales of days gone by. She told a tale of Finn and the Frisians.
Queen Hildebert had no cause to trust the Jutes. She thought of them as evil warring brutes. Her husband Finn ruled all the Frisian land, a southern tribe of Jutes at his command. Her brother Hanaf, the mighty king of Danes, the northern Jutes joined all his fierce campaigns. Still unknown to her husband and her brother, those Jute tribes were in blood feud with each other. It came to pass that Hanaf sailed the seas to honor Finn and forge a treaty of peace. Finn's Jute men rose in fury when they spied the northern Jute tribe at King Hanaf's side. King Finn tried in vain to make a truce, but furious feuding warriors were set loose, and King Hanaf's life was swiftly lost. Both warring armies paid a heavy cost. King Hanaf's men murdered blameless Finn. Alas, the warring army claimed his kin. His son was murdered in the furious fight. The Frisian hope and Queen Hildeburg's pride. The conquering Danes bore Hildebert back home, bereft of husband, brother, and her son.
Applause filled the hall, the poem was over. But how could those warriors know their fate? As night approached and bedding was spread, an unknown avenger lurked in the swampland, and one man among them was marked for death.
Grendel's mother, monstrous hellwife, grieved for her son and brooded on misery. She came to the mead hall on a savage errand, raging and ravenous, resolved on revenge. She tore into Heorot, and the man woke in terror. Panicked, confused, and in fear for her life, she seized the noble, gripping him tightly, grabbed Grendel's arm, and loped back to the fen.
Now the old king, that grey-haired warrior, was heart-sore and weary. Noble Ashura, his chief advisor and best-loved friend, was dead and gone. Beowulf was in other lodgings, unaware that terror and sorrow had returned. Quickly he was brought to Hrothgar, to where the wise king wondered, after such woe, if the tide of his troubles would ever turn.
Sorrow has returned to the Danish people. Ashura is dead, my right-hand man, a restless, murderous demon has slain him, taken up the feud to avenge her kinsmen. I heard it said that 2 such creatures prowl the moors, and in the mere a few miles out is a fearful place where water burns. A hunted deer would stand there and die rather than dive beneath its surface. That is no good place.
Wise man, do not grieve. 'Tis always better to avenge loved ones than indulge in mourning. Each one of us awaits for the end of our life. Let whoever can win glory before death. This is the best a man can do. So come, King Hrothgar, we will find her lair. I promise you, she will not escape under cover, not in the bosom of the earth, nor the mountain forest, nor the bottom of the ocean. Go where she will. So bear your troubles like the great man you are.
With that, the old lord was reassured, thanking God for Beowulf's promise. Hrothgar gathered a force of warriors, and bent on revenge, they followed the hero, tracking the blood-red trail of the Helldam into the dark and shadowy swampland, until they reached the churning water. It was a hard blow for each and every one of them when, at the foot of the cliff, above the water, they came upon Ashura's severed head.
Beowulf was ready, no fear for his life. He was dressed in his war gear, a shirt of mail, hand-forged and fine web to protect his bone cage. Not least among his mighty arms was a rare and ancient sword called Hrunting, belonged to Unfar, who, with no thought now of his drunken rant, gave it gladly. He had never failed anyone in battle. Beowulf accepted the precious offering and turned to address the Lord of the Danes.
Wisest of kings, if I should fail and be parted from my life while serving your cause, care for my comrades, my young retainers, and send to Higelac the treasures that I have won. Let the Lord of the Geats gaze on that gold and know that I found a generous ring-giver. To Unferth I bequeath my own heirloom, my beautiful, sharp-honed, wave-patterned sword. With Hrunting, I win glory or die.
And with these words, Beowulf suddenly plunged into the surging depth of the lake. The bloody water, it was infested with serpents, devilish sea dragons and writhing water demons. Downward he swam until the guilty one who haunted those waters sensed his presence. Seal swift she lunged and caught him fast, dragging him to her demon den. where the water could not touch them at all. He saw the mere hag in all her monstrous strength, and with a mighty stroke he swung his blade. But the shining sword refused to bite. Harunting's hard edge could not destroy her. He would have to rely on the strength of his arm. He threw her body on the floor of the cave. Swift on her part, she paid him back. She hurled herself on him and brandished her blade. Her savage talons could not breach his armor. He sprang to his feet to renew his attack. Among her battle gear, he saw a blade. An enchanted sword forged by giants, so huge and heavy that no one but Beowulf could wield it, battle, and forcefully strike. He hit the hag on her hideous neck, a bold blow that broke her neck bone. She fell to the floor. His blade dripped gore.
A light appeared, and the cavern brightened. He inspected the vault and found Grendel's body. Now the weapon would prove its worth. The warrior was determined to take revenge for every foul act that Grendel committed. Beowulf in his fury now settled that score and cut off Grendel's head from his body. The ancient sword that Beowulf was holding was melting like ice, all but the hilt. The blade had dissolved and the scrollwork scorched from the poisonous blood of the fiend who had perished. The hero saw an abundance of treasure, and yet took nothing from that dwelling except Grendel's head and the jeweled hilt, and he brought back Unferth's ancient sword. Hrunting bore no shame in the battle. He swam to the surface with his heavy load. The wide waters were no longer infested now that the evil one had let go of her life.
Do you have the black there?
Back on the lakeside, Hrothgar's counselors saw the bloody swell of the waves. They bowed their gray heads in sorrow for Beowulf. It was clear that the sea-wolf had destroyed him forever. The sad shieldings abandoned the headland, and the king went home, heart-sore and grim. But the Geats remained. They wished without hope to see their young lord and friend once again. And then Beowulf, triumphant, rose from the lake, bearing the massive, bloody-stained burden. His thanes advanced, astonished to see him, thanking God he was safe and sound. Strong warriors carried the head, the awful remains of the dreaded demon. It's hard work, but they did it with joy, and lifted it high to bear it to Heorot.